Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed, yes, to another edition of the Mark Moses Show podcast. As we're always broadcasting live from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Hey, take back control of your life. Call them today, 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. And here on a Tuesday, we got much to discuss. And I'm very, very excited to get this guy on with Brevard Sports Network. He is Alan Zlotorzynski. Alan, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great, Mark. I'm sitting here going through Travis and what's her name's Taylor Swift Amazon wedding list to see what I want to send. I'm sure my invitation's in the mail.
I know what you'd send to them. And it'll be a gift package.
Yeah.
Here's what it'll be. It's a gift package from Alan. You open it up. It's a Lamar Jackson jersey. And it says, see you in January, you. And then the rest of it won't be family friendly.
And it'll be on their front porch on fire with somebody having to stomp it out. Just saying.
Okay. You know what those two are like?
What?
It's before our time. But I think the best comparison for this is my dad could probably answer this, probably your mom, dad, their generation. When Marilyn Monroe married Joe DiMaggio, I think when I was growing up, that's what they would say, that was so famous at the time, where you had someone, Marilyn Monroe, so famous in Hollywood, Playboy, all that stuff. And then he's the Yankee Clipper. He's one of the great Yankees of all time. Those who get married was so big for this country. I think that's what at this level now. With Kelsey, who's a Super Bowl champion, and she's the number one artist on the planet.
Well, two things. Yeah, no, you're right. And two things about that situation. I don't think that Travis Kelsey has to worry about Donald Trump stealing Taylor Swift away the way John Kennedy took Marilyn Monroe away. So I don't think we're gonna have any of those issues.
No, I'll just say this. Then we got high school, college to get to. I remember when he made some joke like, "Oh man, I'm gonna try to get her number as she's gonna be playing at Arrowhead," and he was joking with his brother about that. Then they went on those dates, and dude, I remember, because this is gonna haunt me forever. The first time she went to one of those games to watch him play, they took on my Bears for a 4:25 kickoff and kicked the crap out of my Bears. And she had this look on her face like, well, this is easy. Yeah, I can root for the Chiefs. My boyfriend's awesome. And she's been to 2 straight Super Bowls. Yeah, it's great for Taylor Swift. So it's not Patrick Mahomes who got all the attention. It was his tight end. Just think about that. Not Mahomes, best player on the planet. No, the tight end's going to marry her, and that's really going to happen. So Alan will be at the wedding with Brevard Sports Network. He'll be officiating it. Yeah, so you'll give us the scoop, right?
I'm officiating the wedding. Could you see that?
All right.
Officiating anybody's wedding.
I will. Yeah, I get to see you. Don't do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me officiate a wedding. Yes, I have been married twice, but that's got nothing to do with it. Go.
Don't do it. That'll be out the whole time. Is anyone here? You always do that part. Is there anyone here who feels these two should not? Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, right here. The guy officiating the wedding.
That's what it's gonna be. All right. I want you to know this. So last Friday night, you did a great job. You were calling, and I'm at all my notes here. You called the great game in overtime, Heritage defeating Titusville, up in Titusville. So I'm on my couch. Here's what I did with technology. It's incredible, especially what you guys do. I'm flipping back and forth. That fourth quarter, it was like I was on the Red Zone channel.
Right.
So I'm not kidding around. I had one game on my TV. Then the other ones, I'm like on my iPad. Then one's on the phone. I'm flipping back and forth. Dude, for week 1, there were 3 games at the same time that were fantastic. So you had your game go down to the wire. You had Vieira come back. Our buddy Anthony Knockreiner called that game. Vieira came back, beat Rockledge by a point. That was a huge win for the Hawks.
It was.
Then, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say this. I did not expect Coco's game with Merritt Island to be the craziest game, fourth quarter into overtime. I think one of the games of the year, even though it's week one. You were on the call for one of these games. How crazy was that Friday night?
It was crazy. And, here's the thing I want to ask you. When you and I moved here, however many years ago we moved here, did you ever think you would see the day where you would be sitting on a couch on a Friday night watching high school football the way you were Friday? It's a beautiful thing. It really is. Listen, my game was spectacular. What was the question?
The question was, all right, and I'm laughing. I'm still thinking of you trying to do weddings. That's the story. For a week one, to have that, and then you were on the call for one of these games, to have that much chaos, like you're on the NFL Red Zone channel, how exciting is that for a Space Coast high school football fan?
It's phenomenal. And, my game, I thought, was an utter it was a shock to me, Mark. It really was. Not the outcome I was expecting, and I was honest about that on the post-game show Friday night. The Merritt Island Cocoa game shocked me, not because of the outcome, but because of what Merritt Island looked like the week before in the kickoff. I mean, they got just roasted by Fort Pierce Central, and the Cobras have not been a very good football team for years now. And to see Merritt Island get beat like that by Fort Pierce Central, I thought, oh boy, Coco's going to get well in a hurry against Merritt Island. But that didn't happen. I mean, I know how good of a coach Tyler Murray is. I know how good of a coaching staff they have. But that's a hell of a remarkable job they did in the course of a week to get that team prepared. Did what we see from Coco shock me? No. We talked about this. It saddens me to see the social media talk about Coco's quarterback because these are high school kids, Mark. He ain't this guy, or he's not this guy, or he's not this guy, and he's not this guy. Let me tell you something. Let me take you back to Brady Hart, who is now at Texas A&M, by the way. Let me take you back to Brady Hart's first start for the Cocoa Tigers. It was against Jones. He passed for 123 yards and 3 interceptions. Yeah. Blake Boda, the quarterback before him, right? 2 interceptions. One of them was a pick 6, and he got sacked in the end zone, and he lost at home against Jones. And Davin Widener didn't look very good at all in his debut against Merritt Island in a kickoff classic back in 2021. So I think we need to cool our jets on Champ Smith, the Cocoa Tigers offense. Is it going to take a couple of weeks for it to gel? It will. But we saw at the end of that football game the championship pedigree of that football team and what they are capable of.
That's a great point. And think about this. So Merritt Island has the ball with about 2 minutes to go, 7-point lead. They have the ball. All they got to do is finish. That's all, or they got to kick a field goal at least, go up 2 scores. It's over. But you bring up that championship pedigree. And I give credit. Merritt Island, great effort for about 59 minutes. But when it mattered, one team knows how to win, and the other team was trying to figure out how to win. Think about this. They're shut down the whole game. This goes out to all the haters out there. We talk about quarterback play. Shut down the whole game. Then their last 3 possessions, including the 2 overtimes, 3 straight touchdowns by Coco to get it. 3 straight to finish the game. They did. Again, Merritt Island scored in overtime, the first one. And you're thinking, all right, here we go.
I think the thing that's even more impressive is, when you from the Coco side of this equation is who got it done for them. You had sophomore Troy Silverzon, a sophomore with 3 touchdowns in the game. Yeah. And what can you say about Javion Scott's 20? That run by Javion Scott at the end of the football game for 25 yards was incredible. Yeah, the walk-off was incredible by a kid in his second year of high school football. Listen, I think that this is a devastating loss to the kids at Merritt Island because they expected to win this football game. They really did.
They were right there.
They believed in their heart of hearts that they were going to win this football game. And, I think this is a good opportunity. And I'm sure Tyler Murray knows this. There are some other things that maybe Merritt Island didn't have control of in this football game that had it gone their way, they would have won this football game. But with that said, I think that Merritt Island gained a lot in this loss to Cocoa. And I think, look, considering what happened with O'Galley, I think it maybe makes this district wide open now.
It's going to be interesting. And I'll just say this. Now this Melbourne-Merritt Island game, I think it's going to be interesting on Friday night as a football game coming up. Both, again, Melbourne, hey, they look good. Merritt Island has to win this game. They have to.
Yeah, and I think listen, we have lauded and praised and loved all over Melbourne, right? They are, and deservedly so, because Jeff Panucci has come in there. I mean, what they scored 58 points Friday night against Cocoa Beach. They won 58-7 in the kickoff classic. They pitched a running clock shutout win over Pine Ridge. But context matters, okay?
It does.
And Pine Ridge won one football game last year. They're not very good this year. Ted Kimmy's rebuilding Cocoa Beach. They were 4-6 last year. They aren't going to be the juggernauts that Melbourne are going to have to beat to win that 6A district. But with that said, if Melbourne can go out and do half of what they did against Pine Ridge and Cocoa Beach, yeah, I think Melbourne's a scary good football team.
We're the Zlotorzynski Brevard Sports Network. All right, let's go back to your game, the Heritage win. You told me before the season, what teams have the hardest schedules where they did it to themselves scheduling wise. And you said Heritage was one of them. And Titusville's right there. What did you take out of this football game? We'll start with Heritage getting the win. What'd you think?
With Heritage's schedule, games like that in county against other county teams, they become must-win games because they're going to take on Seminole this week, right? Seminole, for goodness sakes. So they become must-win games if Heritage is going to be that team that goes back to the playoffs and wins a district championship. I was impressed with what Heritage did. Jordan Padala, I mean, they executed a flea flicker for a touchdown in this game. Padala had a 75-yard touchdown pass to Nathaniel Owens in this game. Drayvon Lee, the freshman running back, with 2 touchdowns in this game. The defense, they call them the Swarm Gang under our friend Mark Ainsley. Everybody forgets Mark Ainsley's the defensive coordinator there. Really shut down Titusville's starting offense. William Billingsley, the quarterback for Titusville, he didn't really get it together until midway through the first half. Matt Diesel had to go to a wildcat in the second half to put points on the board. This was a really good football game. And to Titusville's credit, they came back. They tied this game. They scored 12 unanswered points. Listen, I love Matt Diesel, but I still don't know about the decision to go for 2 instead of kick the field goal at the end of the regulation there. I heard the reason why. Okay, I get it. But I still would have given a shot at going for the extra point there. But in the end, Heritage did what they needed to do with the schedule they play, and that's get the win.
Yeah, that was a great game. You called that. And look, I'm going to give credit to Alan as well for everyone watching right now. So you called that game into overtime. Then you got your butt in the car, drove to your home studio, and did a post-game show. Man, you must have been. What time did you go to bed?
I didn't. The funny thing is I didn't go to bed until Saturday around 1. And I didn't go to bed until after the Irish football game, the game that was played in Ireland, college football. That's when I went to bed, and then I got up about 9 o'clock that night and then went back to bed around midnight.
I don't blame you, dude. Hey, the Cocoa Merritt Island game, I think, was like about 3 hours. Okay.
Yeah, we got to clean this up. I don't know what it, and I'm going to write an article about this. I don't know whether it's officiating, whether it's what the rules, I'm going to take a deep dive. There should be no high school football game that runs 3 hours and 27 minutes.
You know what it is? It's that flow. Look, I get these are high school referees. I know they're trying their best out there. I know they are, where they're trying to get the calls correct. And it's kind of hard as a viewer at home, that flow, you don't want to wait there, the 2 minutes for a call to get corrected. Get the call right. Let's keep moving. And it shouldn't take that long.
No, it shouldn't. And listen, I have a lot of respect for the Mid-Coast Officials Association. They do a tremendous job. I MC their Hall of Fame banquets every year. And it's week 1 for them too. Okay. So I get it. But I just think a high school football game at the most should be over by 9:30.
I agree with you. You're absolutely right. Okay, back to that game, and then we're going to look ahead to this Friday night. So I want to get your thoughts on this. Hey, how about the Viera Hawks? Another, again, one-possession game.
Yeah.
They came back against Anthony had the call. What'd you think of that performance?
This is a football game that Viera doesn't win in the last 4 years. This is a game that this program hasn't won since the days of Derek Smith. And this is a big, big jump for this program. They snap a 7-game losing streak in the backyard brawl to Rockledge, the way they got it done. I think if you're Rockledge, you come into this, you come out of this thing for 2 straight weeks. Look, if you include the Kickoff Classic, and even though the Kickoff Classic doesn't count, for Rockledge, you're 1-1 over the last 2 weeks, but you played the same way in both games. You didn't play 4 full quarters. They're young. We talked about it. They got electric freshmen and sophomores on that team. It's going to take a couple of weeks before they start playing 4 quarters of football. I apologize if it got dark in here all of a sudden. All of a sudden, I start hearing thunder. I look outside. It's like dark as it can be. But
hey, man.
But for Viera needed this football game far more than did Rockledge. I will say that. Okay. Viera has a veteran-laden offense with seniors on it. All right. Eric Nelson's a senior. Okay. Sean Hartman's a senior. Jonah Woodruff is a senior. So for those guys, they wanted this. They got it. They fought for it. Good for them.
Oh, okay. I forgot to say this. You kind of said this a second ago. So the one where we had Space Coast versus Treasure Coast was O'Galley went to Vero Beach.
Yes.
Okay. I think the scoreboard, because it was like 41-31. But what happened? Because I know Vero Beach was big in this game early.
Well, yeah, they were. But listen, O'Galley lost their quarterback, Joseph Allen. He's out. He dislocated his knee. And I don't know how long he's out. I know he's not playing this week or next week. But he's out. And they came back with a Wildcat formation that put points on the board. I guess Chris Sands and company are going to have to figure this thing out now. But they certainly have the talent to do it. Brody Grantland, senior backup. They got a senior backup quarterback there. I don't know I can't comment on what I don't know about how ready Brody is to go in and take the reins. I've seen Brody play. I know the kid is a really good quarterback. So we'll see if he's ready to go by tomorrow or by Friday night against Rockledge. But there are options for O'Galley. They got Xavier Larice. They got Xavier Corbin, the X Factors, I call them. Look, Xavier Corbin, an electric freshman. You want to talk about officials blowing a call, right? Xavier Corbin catches a football 2 yards deep in the end zone. In high school football, that's an automatic touchback. You cannot run the football out of the end zone. Referee never blew the whistle. Corbin took off 102 yards for a touchdown. This kid is electric. He's going to be a great one to watch over the next 4 years. Between the Kickoff Classic and week 1, he's got 5 touchdowns already for O'Galley.
What did you just say? So we got to put up the X for O'Galley for these 2 players, the X Factor?
I call them the X Factors, baby, the X Factors.
That was like when I used to cover Nebraska football, the defense was the black shirts, and they
right.
this up.
Look,
Now,
what? There was a part of me a long time ago that may recommend something from the DX generation, but I don't want to get those young men in trouble.
No, I wouldn't do that either. All right, I'm working on graphics for you. All right, let's see if I can bring this up. All right, here are the games. Here's week 2, right? So Rockledge at O'Galley, Melbourne at Merritt Island, Mainland at Cocoa, Seminole at Heritage, Palm Bay at Bayside, Holy Trinity at Titusville. Of those games, which ones are you like, okay, these are sexy games that you think are going to be competitive for 4 quarters?
I like the Mainland Cocoa game. I'll be on the call for that one.
Oh, well, you're on well, duh. Yeah, it isn't sexy because Alan Zlotorzynski will be there.
Well, right, exactly. Me and Travis and his new bride to be. I also think that the MCC game is going to be sexy as well. I'm sorry. Do you have that one on there?
No, I don't. All right. So tell us about that game. What do you like?
The MCC and Trinity Catholic is going to be a good football game. Trinity Catholic's got a new coach this year. And I got to be honest with you. Last year, I think they lost in the first round of the playoffs. But 2 years ago, Trinity Catholic was a school that won 3 regular season games and went all the way to the state championship game because of how hard their schedule was. But that's a sexy game. Vieira Deltona, 2 1-0 teams. We got that game on Brevard Sports Network as well. Obviously, we don't have this one, but I do think it's the best game on the docket, and that is Melbourne at Merritt Island.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great football game, and it's a great test for Melbourne. And again, pressure's on Merritt Island. Yeah, and you know those Merritt Island players. They've been thinking about last Friday night every day. I know it's Tuesday. The Mustangs wish it was Friday right now to get back to the football field.
This is a game that's going to tell us a lot more about who both of these teams are.
I agree. And do you feel like you just talked about O'Galley? Do you feel like whatever they do at quarterback, whatever, that's another team? We better figure this out. A little pressure.
Listen, they got Rockledge this week. Rockledge, just like I said, they're still putting some things together. This game is at O'Galley. I think O'Galley, I think, is the favorite going into this football game. But given the quarterback situation, listen, and O'Galley's defense right now, Mark, they've given up 65 points in 2 weeks. Chris Sands told both you and I that he replaced 10 starters on defense. So it's not going to click just like that. We'll see if Rockledge can take advantage of that defense coming together. If they can't, O'Galley will win this football game.
Okay. Who's the best team going into week 2 in Brevard County? I'll put you on the spot.
I'll say O'Galley still.
You're going with O'Galley.
I'll say O'Galley still. I got to see it. O'Galley goes down to Vero Beach. They lose their quarterback at the end of the first quarter. They score 24 additional points. Mm-hmm. O'Galley doesn't have let me say this. O'Galley doesn't have the best defense in this county. That belongs to Cocoa. Offensively, with Joseph Allen, I think the best offense in the county belonged to O'Galley. So right now, I'll stick with O'Galley. But if Cocoa gets that offense together, like I think they will and can, I think they'll overtake the Commodores.
When's that game? Cocoa and O'Galley.
It's September 19th.
You're right. You're parking right now. You can't wait. Okay. Yeah. You can't wait for that game. All right. High school story. And I know you post about this on Brevard Sports Network. Local athletes who are going to be playing college football coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Look, the big one. Okay. Mike Norvell, the head football coach at Florida State, he announced his depth chart for week 1 at home against Alabama. Again, Alabama. And he has our local guy, one of the best high school wide receivers of all time in the state of Florida. If you look
ever.
Mr. Boggs Think about this. You're a true freshman, never played a collegiate football game yet, and you're going to line up against Alabama on national TV. What are your thoughts, Alan?
Not surprised if you've seen Javen Boggs play the game and the way he gets open. We also got Sandman Thompson, who's the backup center for Florida State as a true freshman from Cocoa as well. That's quite an achievement. Don't forget, on the interior for Florida State is Richie Leonard, who graduated from Cocoa and is a senior at Florida State. It is, I think, we counted 26 just with the Florida teams. There are 26 guys that'll be suiting up that played Brevard County High School football.
I can't stress this enough. In case you don't know this story, and we've known about it since signing day back in the spring. You just think of the timeline with Boggs. He's supposed to be at UCF with Gus Malzahn.
He's supposed to be at Missouri.
You know what? That's another. Wasn't it Ohio State, Missouri?
Ohio State, Missouri, UCF, and Florida State.
So it'd be interesting with the timeline. If Gus Malzahn is still the coach at UCF, is he starting for the Knights on Thursday night?
Yes.
UCF. Yeah. So it's interesting. That was a thing, Gus Malzahn, where he is the offensive coordinator now at Florida State. Yeah, he brought a diamond to Tallahassee to help that football. And honestly, you saw them play last year. They need all the help they can get.
And they better throw them the football. Because listen, Javen Boggs is not a diva, but he knows what he can do. Okay? You better throw that young man the football, or he will play for somebody that will.
They are, I believe, a double-digit dog.
They should be.
Yeah. Now, look, it's not – see, this is what's going to be interesting with Alabama. It's not the Nick Saban, Crimson Tide anymore. It's this DeBoer guy from Washington. They did not have they lose 3 games last year?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting of a matchup. And I'll say this. Gus Malzahn has kind of put the kibosh on, seeing anything from fall camp. So there's been no hype, no video, no photo. So there's not really a lot of buzz for Florida State right now going into the season. Fascinated to see what happens Saturday.
Listen, I think that I think that Florida State, what happened to them last year was, I don't know, like 1,000-year storm, right? I mean, it really came together for them, or not came together, but it really fell apart for them in a way that everything that could go wrong did go wrong for that program. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I can't imagine under any circumstance that they're going to be even remotely that bad this year. And I think they got a shot to give Bama a game here a little bit.
Florida State, so what was it, 3 years ago? 3 years ago, they won 10 games. 2 years ago, they won 13 games, won their conference, lost their quarterback, didn't make the playoff, then won 2 games last year. It's bizarre. It is.
Yeah.
They're going to be better than 2 wins. I think we can guarantee that. We are. So, okay, let's go. All right, I'm going to bring this up. See, I'm bringing the graphics to the table here. No, that's the wrong one. See, still producer Mark's trying to figure this out. All right, can I do this? All right, here we go. Okay, let's go to Thursday first. Let's do this on the chalkboard here. South Florida, I want you to know this, and it's okay if you don't know anything about South Florida. I had to look at AI, had to teach me about the Bulls. They start with, think about this to start a season, Boise State, who's ranked, then they go to Florida, then they have Miami at home. They're probably going to be 0-3 to start the year.
Yes.
Who is your pick to go?
Well, listen, Boise State's going to win this football game. But let me tell you something about Alex Golish. What Alex Golish is going to do is he's going to push the tempo of every one of these football games. His offensive tempo was a thing of beauty to watch. Did you watch last year that game against Alabama?
Yeah, they should have won the game.
Right. And so Alex Golish is, I know USF is going to score points, Mark. The question is can they stop anybody? They're going to be a fun football team to watch. I love this schedule. Yes, they will start 0-3, but I promise you they'll be in every one of these games at the half.
Yeah, look, a lot of predictions have them. Okay, you start 0-3, maybe 1-2, maybe, probably not. And then they could compete in the American Conference, win 8 games this season. All right, UCF. All right, I want your beautiful face back on the big board, even though it appears you're in someone's dungeon basement.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in my mom's basement playing with computers.
It's okay, man. UCF, we've talked about it all off season. It's Scott Frost 2.0. Look, there's so many new faces on this team. I don't have high expectations. If they get to a bowl game, I think it's a miracle, and I would take it as a win. I think they're going to beat Jacksonville State. They're favored.
They better beat Jacksonville State. But listen, Jacksonville State has been known for some early season surprises, right? Yeah. We've seen Jacksonville State upset some teams in week 1. For Scott Frost, this is all about rebuilding UCF to where it was the day he left. That's not going to happen in year 1. It didn't happen in year 1 when he was here the last time, okay? They went, 6-5 that year?
Yeah, 6 wins.
Yeah, so I think if they pull off 6 or 7 wins this year, and like you said, get to a bowl game, he gets his guys in there next year is what I think Knights fans need to shoot for.
All right, so I said this on TV the other night. I'm going to say it to you about Scott Frost. So you said it right there. First year, he wins 6 games. Then they go 13-0.
Right.
They call themselves the champions. Then he goes to Nebraska and doesn't even get to a bowl game in 4 years and gets fired. My question for him is, and I like Scott Frost, can you coach? Can you win football games? I think this is a legitimate question here.
I can remember having a conversation with you when Scott Frost left the first time, and a lot of people felt like that it was the perfect time for him to leave. If I remember correctly, me and you didn't. We didn't think he had spent enough time here. We didn't think he was ready for the Nebraska job. Listen, and that's given all of his success as an offensive coordinator prior to UCF, right? So I thought, listen, he took over a bad program when he went to Nebraska. By the time he was in year 2, the wheels had already fallen off the apple cart, and there was nothing he could do to put them back on. What happened in Lincoln was not all Scott Frost's fault, Mark. It wasn't, okay? Now, by the time he left, it was, but I think he had thrown in the towel by that point. Him coming back to UCF, I think, is a fresh start for Scott Frost, and I think we will see him succeed here.
I hope he does. I don't think anyone else would have given him a head coaching job.
The one thing Scott Frost did here the last time he was here, that was a really big damn deal, was recruit this state.
I agree.
And he will do that again.
All right. The first game you and me went to in 2016, they took on your Maryland Terrapins. Maryland won that football game.
I was sick.
Yeah, I remember you being sick at that game.
Yeah.
And then in garbage time, they threw in number 10, this guy named Mackenzie Milton.
Yes, they did.
Now it's the first time he was really out there. Yeah, that's wild to think.
You sat in the stands with the women.
Yeah, I did. You were you're sick, but I'm the one who had it worse.
Right.
That was a fun game to go to. Hopefully we can go to another game moving forward.
Oh, I'm gonna go check out the boys at UCF this year. When I say the boys, I mean Day Farmer, Jaquez Joyner, Thomas Wadsworth, Mason Dennenberg. Listen, Mason Dennenberg is an interesting story for UCF. He's a kicker for them, right? He played at Merritt Island. He was drafted by the Washington Nationals in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft back in 2019 or 2020, right? Blew his arm out, tried to come back, couldn't, has college eligibility as a football player, and now he plays for UCF.
That's really cool. That really is. All right, the 2 games coming up on Saturday. I'm okay. I'm taking Alabama to beat Florida State. Who are you taking in that game?
Alabama.
All right, we're both taking Bama. We just have to see it from Florida State.
Right.
See them compete. And then, even though I do like, this is what's funny, the quarterback is going to be better at Castellanato. I believe that's how it's pronounced, where he was a transfer from UCF, was at Boston College. And yes, this is going to be the new norm in college football where you play for 7 teams and you just keep going. That's going to be interesting. The Gators are going to beat Long Island.
Yeah.
Okay, and DJ Lagway is going to play. They're going to beat Long Island. They're going to beat South Florida, and then their real season starts.
Yep.
That's how I look at it for the Gators. That's it. All right, then I'll get to your real game pick. The official, Alan Zlotorzynski, his pick of the weekend. Who wins? Texas versus Ohio State.
I thought you were going to ask me about Notre Dame and Miami.
Oh, okay. All right. Wait. First, who's going to win? Ohio State and Texas. Who's winning that football game?
Ohio State's going to destroy them.
They're going to destroy them in this game. The defending
it's at Ohio State.
At the shoe.
Yeah. Ohio State will win this game by 2 touchdowns.
How will Arch Manning play in this game?
He'll play well, but he's a Manning. He'll throw a costly pick at some point in this game. They all do, okay? From Peyton to Eli, they all do, all right? He will as well. I think Ohio State. Listen, I don't know what the spread is on this game, but I'd give as many as 9 to Texas.
It's funny because Texas is ranked the preseason number 1.
Right.
They're a dog on the road.
Yeah.
Start the season. I love what you said, man. You know, Peyton Manning was in 4 Super Bowls. I don't think he played well in any of them.
Well, I mean, did he throw the pick 6 that turned the New Orleans Indianapolis game around?
Okay. All right. I apologize. Miami's at home against Notre Dame. Notre Dame's going to have a new quarterback. Miami's got Carson Beck, the transfer from Georgia. Who do you like in this football game?
I like Miami to win this football game. I listen, man. I'm hyped up for this one. As a matter of fact, if I could go back and do it again, I may even have applied for a credential to go down and see this one. I like Miami in this football game. I do. I don't know. I just do.
This is a gigantic game for the Hurricanes. And this reminds me, remember, the last time I was there in 2017, the turnover chain, they beat Notre Dame before the kickoff. That was the craziest, most hyped up, drunk crowd I've ever been for a college football game. They destroyed Notre Dame. Notre Dame just played the national title game and lost to Ohio State. You're taking the Hurricanes.
I think that as far as Mario Cristobal's coaching career has gone, I think this is the biggest game of his career.
Yeah. To start in week 1.
Yeah.
All right. They're going to have that. Then they're going to have the Gators in a couple weeks also at home.
Yeah. And here's the thing you have to remember about Miami, right? Everybody's bitching and moaning about the fact that they weren't a college football playoff team last year. But Miami cost themselves that opportunity last year. They did. You know that, right? A win over Notre Dame in week 1 makes everybody forget about all of that last year.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see how Carson Beck plays.
Yes.
He's been injured the whole offseason. Yeah, look, dude, I'm going to say this to everyone watching this or listening right now. Don't even think about, maybe I can get a ticket last minute. No. Unless you start blood.
You can go to a game at Hard Rock this weekend. It's the Orange Blossom Classic between FAMU and Howard. All right, so if you want to go, there are 2 Brevard County guys in that game as well. Former Rockledge quarterback Traven Green and former Cocoa kicker, who is the punter for the Rattlers, Gunnar Trout. So if you want to go to Hard Rock, you still can get a ticket for that game. And that, by the way, the halftime of that game is the best halftime in the country with those marching bands. Yeah,
they do a great job. Okay, so it's going to be a busy weekend, buddy, of Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Miami Notre Dame is Sunday night.
Yep.
It's over. Hey, we don't need to just be driving around. I'm bored out of my mind.
No.
We just sit on the So I want to reset. What games you calling on Friday night, buddy?
All right, we're gonna have. Let me just get this pulled up so I don't miss anything here. Okay, so Mainland at Cocoa, Deltona at Vieira, Trinity Catholic at Melbourne Central Catholic, and Seminole at Heritage. Those are the 4 games you'll see on Brevard Sports Network.
And what game are you calling personally?
Mainland at Cocoa.
No, that's gonna be exciting, man. That's gonna be good. I texted Coach Snyder I waited till like Saturday late afternoon.
That's not long enough.
It's not. I texted Coach and I was like, "Look, man, that was a nice comeback. That was big." And Coach wrote back, "Very tired." Like I don't blame him because I'm telling you, 59 minutes of football, they were completely shut down in that football game, completely. And
why did he respond? Very tired.
Yeah, I'm tired.
That's Ryan Schneider.
Remember, he's like, yeah, you could tell he's emotionally exhausted. Didn't even play in the football game.
No, sure.
You know what I mean?
He's vested. Listen, man, if you ever, that's why you have to come to a Cocoa game. If you come for no other reason, come and watch him and Adam Franco coach on the sidelines.
Just going.
It's fun. It's a good time. Yeah,
man. I mean, you played high school football, and
sure.
I bet a lot of people watching this played as well. I bet that bus ride back after that game. I know they didn't play well for most of the game. That must have been fun for those players. And especially like you said, 25-yard run, walk off to win it on the road.
Yeah.
That must have been fun for those players.
Look, yeah. I mean, and stop and think about the bus ride for Heritage, right? Heritage takes a bus ride from the north end of the county all the way back to the south end of the county.
When you think of driving, you're right. Titusville to Heritage High School. Could I drive from my studio to the Kia Center in downtown Orlando? It'd probably take the same amount of time.
Listen, Brevard County, for those that don't know, and here's a piece of geographical knowledge for your listeners and your viewers.
Yeah.
Brevard County is the largest county north to south in the state of Florida.
It is. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I hope, and you do a great job, I hope you have a great holiday weekend and good luck. And look, I'm reposting on my pages all your guys' calls. You guys do a great job and good luck with week 2.
Well, Mark, we would love to get you in the booth for one of them in the coming week. So keep a Friday open for us. And thanks for bringing me on every Tuesday.
Great stuff.